morning, scholars, and happy Tuesday! Welcome to Read Aloud with Miss Castle. We're going to have a wonderful time today reading another silly story by our author of the week. Think about, what is his name? Let's see if you're right. Do you think you know his name? Let's see if you are right. His name is Ted Arnold. Did you get it correct? I hope you did. Let's see more facts about Ted Arnold today. Here's Ted Arnold, and he's drawing his most popular book character. Do you remember what his name is? We saw him yesterday. You're right, it's Fly Guy. So that's Ted Arnold, and he's in his studio drawing Fly Guy. Today, we are going to meet Ted Arnold. We're going to be able to see him in a video and meet him. Before we meet him, though, I want you to remember, is he an author, an illustrator, or both? Is he an author, an illustrator, or both? Yes, he is both. He writes the stories. He draws the pictures, so he is both. Let's enjoy meeting Ted Arnold. I'll be with you when you come back.
The story of Fly Guy.
Hi kids, I'm Ted Arnold, and I'm the one who wrote and drew the pictures for Fly Guy. The hardest part about writing a book is coming up with a good idea. Then the even harder part, after the hardest part, is to get the words written that tell the story that first popped into your imagination. And then there's another hard part after that, and that is to draw the pictures that visualize the story the way your idea first came to you. A lot of times kids ask me, where did I come up with that idea? Way back, a long time ago, I did a book called Green Wilma, and I drew a fly in that book. And ever since this book, I kind of thought a fly might be a great character for his own book. It took me a long time to figure it out. But one day I was getting in my car, and there was a fly in the car with me. I don't know how, I must have got in when I got in. But it was buzzing around the windshield, driving me crazy. I couldn't quite reach it to shoo it out the side window, so instead, I started drawing that fly. And that's when Fly Guy started, right in my car. One of the things I do when I start an idea is I brainstorm, even if I'm all by myself. I started brainstorming everything I knew about flies, like shoe fly pie, and there was no lady who swallowed a fly. But then I got the magic moment in a brainstorm that made the entire series happen. When I realized there's one word a fly can say, and it's a boy's name, then I knew I had a story, a boy and his pet fly. And I wouldn't have gotten that idea about Buzz unless I was brainstorming.
Whoa, he was so good. His art is amazing. I also liked being able to meet him and hear why he came up with the idea of Fly Guy. And it was from another story that we're going to be reading later this week. So I thought that was extra special as well. In today's story, our character is going to be horrified. What does it mean, scholars, to be horrified? It says when you are shocked about something frightening or terrible that is happening to you. So yesterday in our story, our character was very, very worried. And I also mentioned that he was kind of paranoid. Another word that can describe that character is also horrified. So in today's story, we're going to think about why is he horrified? My example sentence is, I stared at the roller coaster, horrified to get on. I just looked up at it and I was just like, I don't think I can go on it. I don't think I can. I'm too scared. I'm horrified. I'm not going on the roller coaster. No, thank you. So that's an example of being horrified, being super scared or frightened about something that might happen to you. In today's story by Ted Arnold, we're going to think about what is similar about the book today than the book we read yesterday. So what is similar about the book we're reading today than what we read yesterday? And that's going to be pretty simple when we start reading it, and you're going to be able to figure them out pretty quickly. I also want you to think about, what do you think might happen to the boy? So during the story, I might pause it and say, what do you think is going to happen next? And it's going to be fun to see, are your predictions correct? Because yesterday we knew that he was super worried about all of these things happening to his body. So I want to see, maybe can you predict some of them today? And lastly, why does he get so horrified? Today's story is More Parts by Ted Arnold. More Parts. I hope you enjoy it just as much as I do. I'll see you soon. More Parts by Ted Arnold. Things are bad and getting worse. Each day it's something new. With all the stuff I hear about, I don't know what to do. One day I tripped on my red truck and it fell apart. But when I told my mom, she said, "Oh, I bet that broke your heart." I guess that's possible. Who knows? I don't think Mom would lie. I'd better play more carefully. This pillow's worth a try. People say all kinds of things that I don't understand. Like when my dad asks if I would please give him a hand. Bloop. Ah! I didn't know my hands come off, and I don't want them to. So I'd rather make sure that they stay on with gloves and lots of glue. Our next door neighbor had a joke he wanted us to hear. He said, "It's sure to crack you up." I ran away with fear. Scholars, why was Chip so horrified when he heard that it will crack him up? What does he think is going to happen to himself? Who wants to hear a joke like that? Not my idea of fun. I gotta keep my head together. It's my only one. My teacher has me worried too. This happened yesterday. She said to stretch out our arms and legs before we go and play. I'm sure she thinks it's good for us, but that's just too bizarre. My arms and legs are long enough. I like the way they are. I know I've got a lot to learn. I'm little and I'm young. But what did Grandma really mean when she said, "Hold your tongue"? My tongue's a slimy, jiggly, squishy, slippery little squirt. It'd be my luck to squeeze too hard and lose it in the dirt. So I decided that it's best to stay here in my room, 'cause who knows when some little thing might lead to my doom. Then Mom and Dad came in and asked me, "Why are you upset?" I told them all the things I've heard that get me in a sweat. Like Coach, who says before each game is ready to begin, he gets so nervous that he nearly jumps out of his skin. Or what a friend said recently, it gave me such a fright. He claimed his baby sister screams her lungs out every night. My skin could slip, my head may crack, and I may break my heart. I could lose my lungs, my hands, who knows when it might start. What if, quite by accident, my body flies apart? Scholars, can you list some of the things that Chip is horrified might happen to himself? Mom and Dad just smiled and looked, relieved that I'm okay. And Mom explained to me about the things that people say. And though Dad laughed, I know he didn't mean to be unkind. When he said, "For a minute, son, we thought you'd lost your mind." That story makes me giggle so much. That poor character, he is so horrified and so worried that all these bad things are going to happen to himself. But they don't really, do they? No, he's too silly. Did you get some of your predictions correct today about what the boy thought was going to happen to himself? Can I hear some? Yeah. When the mom was like, "Your lips are going to fall off," he thought his whole entire mouth was going to fall off. He thought his head was going to pop off. He thought he was going to lose an arm. Does that actually happen? No, he doesn't actually lose an arm. Too silly. Is his head going to actually pop off? No. But he was horrified that all those bad things were going to happen. In the end, he kind of shut himself in his room to try to stay away from everybody telling him all these things were going to happen to him. But they weren't actually happening to him. But he was horrified by the thought that they were going to happen. And that's what I was trying to get at. He was horrified by those thoughts, but they didn't actually happen to him. Glad you picked up on that too, scholars. Can you list some of the similarities between this book in the book we read yesterday? What are some of the similarities? How are they the same? Yes, so they have the same character. He is worried that something's bad's happening to himself. It's the same setting, same house, same parents. And did they both rhyme? Number 5 is they both were rhyming books, which means every other line had a rhyming word to them. Like, I'm going insane, I'm afraid I lost my brain. Insane, brain. That rhymes, that rhymes. So both of those books had rhyming words and pages in them. So that was another thing we could have tried to pick up on as what is similar between yesterday's book and today's book, other than the characters, the setting, and what actually happened to the boy. Another thing that we can pick up on is how the drawings looked similar, but we'll also get into that on Friday. We're going to get into how all the drawings by Ted Arnold have very similar aspects to them and why they all look really similar or the same. Love it. Well, tomorrow we're going to read a completely new book by Ted Arnold. We're going to not do any more of the Parts trilogies. If you ever want to, there's a book called Even More Parts by Ted Arnold. If you're ever at a library, I suggest going to get that book because Even More Parts is hilarious. It's the 3rd book in the trilogy about parts. So I bet you'd really enjoy that. So if you loved the last 2 books we read, maybe go hit up a library and see if you can get Even More Parts. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day, scholars, and keep working super hard on your Lexia, your Zern, and your guided reading calls with your teachers, because we always love seeing your wonderful, beautiful faces. Have a great rest of your day, scholars. Goodbye.